Senior Airman Seth Jones, a security forces journeyman, had a bright future. He earned Senior Airman below the zone, a 6-month early promotion from Airman First Class. He served as a physical security advisor to the commander during his last deployment to Afghanistan. In addition to his basic military training ribbon, Small Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon, Good Conduct Medal, awarded to any active duty enlisted service member who completes 3 consecutive years of honorable and faithful service, his Global War on Terrorism Service and Expeditionary Medals, a National Defense Medal, and an Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, Airman Jones has earned a NATO Medal, 2 Air Force Expeditionary Medals with gold frames, 2 Overseas Short Tour ribbons, an Afghanistan Campaign Medal with a Bronze Star device, a Meritorious Unit Award, and an Army Commendation Medal in less than 5 years. Jones worked diligently at everything he was tasked with. He was one of the best and brightest airmen most would ever meet. Shortly after returning from deployment, he was charged with and admitted to smoking spice. Everything changed. His life was turned upside down one night in August 2010.
I went over to a friend's place. He was house sitting for one of my buddies, and we decided we were gonna have a couple of drinks. We were having a good time, and we were relaxing. Basically, throughout the night, we were getting a little bit drunk, and he was with his girlfriend, and we decided to watch a movie. And it was just we were just relaxing, and throughout the movie, him and his girlfriend were over there talking, and she was sort of like, should we bring it out? I mean, and he was like, yeah, he's cool, since I'm a cop, you know. They had to confirm it with each other, and I didn't know what they were talking about at the time. But then he pulled it out, and it was spice. And once he pulled it out, I was a little bit put off. I didn't know how to react, and he basically asked me if I wanted to smoke. At first I was hesitant, but after some peer pressure, I made the decision to smoke.
According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, K2, or spice, is a mixture of herbs and spices that is typically sprayed with a synthetic compound chemically similar to marijuana. Often sold in small, metallic-looking plastic bags, the dried leaves, twigs, and seeds look like potpourri. Like marijuana, spice can be smoked rolled into joints or packed into pipes. Paragraph 3.2.3 of Air Force Instruction 44-11, Medical Operations, Alcohol, and Drug Abuse Prevention and Treatment Program states, the knowing use of any intoxicating substance, other than the lawful use of alcohol or tobacco products, in any manner to alter mood or function is prohibited. These substances include, but are not limited to, designer drugs such as spice. Failure by military personnel to comply with the prohibitions is a violation of Article 92 of the UCMJ. Now, Airman First Class Jones, having been demoted, awaits discharge from the Air Force. His days are spent on detail, doing odd jobs for security forces, be it cleaning the building, shredding paperwork for the command section, or scrubbing the stalls at the military working dog kennels.
Now these are relatively clean, so I'm not gonna have to do too much work. But there's a lot of grime that builds up on the walls. That's basically what we're trying to clean off. Mostly, I think about what I'm gonna do whenever I'm done doing this. When I say that, I mean like this chore in specific, but more what I'm gonna do whenever I get out of the military. A lot of people give up and stop working when they're in this situation. And my goal for this situation is to maintain my work ethic and therefore my self-respect. This is going to take a long time for me to actually finish this.
The fallout of Airman Jones's actions in August 2010 impacted not just his life and liberties at Spangdahlem, but those of nearly all Security Forces members assigned to Spangdahlem. In addition to Airman Jones, more than 15 airmen have been charged with the illegal use of prohibited substances like spice. The hit taken by the 52nd Fighter Wing came at a great cost.
We had about 15 individuals that were initially busted here at Spangdahlem Air Base. As time progressed, names popped up that stretched out into our Air Force and that have long since PCS. And it was definitely, particular one was spice. Spice was the biggest user, but some of these individuals were using harder things, your marijuana, your cocaine, and some were taking Percocet. The hardest impact was our manpower. That was the initial. We had a number of troops getting called into OSI to be questioned. Obviously, they couldn't post. So we were really hurting on manning and posting with troops already deployed and troops ready to leave the door. Leaves had to be stopped. People returning from deployments couldn't take any leave when they returned. They were a lot of their CAD days, but nothing additional. Morale became an issue. We were security forces. We're supposed to uphold the law, and now we have the two black eyes in our faces, and they could not. It was an integrity issue. Now we were questioning ourselves. Who are we? Why are we doing these things? Everybody that was involved in the spice, they all got discharged. Not one person was retained. The hardest part was keeping them motivated enough to continue to outprocess and act like airmen, like they should be acting. Because it's hard to say, it's hard for a company in any place in the world to say, guess what, you're getting fired. Most cases, you get fired, you grab your things and you leave. We're telling you, we're going to fire you, but you still have to maintain those standards, and you have to do that until you leave.
After receiving his discharge paperwork, Airman Jones was given 2 days to outprocess Spangdahlem Air Base and the Air Force. It's not easy to sign away your access to the base, your benefits, to include your GI Bill, and your pay, let alone in 2 days.
I just found it, but I didn't have him sign off on it.
Okay, yeah, just have him sign off on it.
Okay.
And have him sign off on that finance checklist.
That's it, and then I'll be done?
Yep.
Roger that. I'll go take care of that right now. So, I'm here to get a signature from Miss Hartman, I think. I didn't get a signature last week, but I did take care of all my stuff. They said that all I needed was this sheet signed off. So, I'm good to get on a plane then?
Yep.
Sounds good. I really appreciate it.
Following his final out
Have a good
appointment,
day.
the last paperwork he needs to sign and turn in order to leave his military career behind. He was given only a few hours to pack his belongings so they could be loaded on a moving truck and shipped home to Pennsylvania.
I'm basically thinking about everything that's going to happen going back home, how different my life's going to be. It's a lot to take in. I mean, I'm already gone from here as far as I'm concerned. My mind's focused on the future. I'm anxious. I'm excited.
Little sister knows you're coming?
Oh yeah, everyone knows I'm coming, and they actually know the reason why. I think it's important to be honest.
Okay, so she knows now.
Yes.
Okay.
Talked to her on the phone. Well, I mean, she's 12 and she calls me Sethi, so I was like, you know, Sethi made a mistake, but the important thing is that I let you guys know and you guys can learn from it. And I told her that I made a mistake and I explained what spice was, but it's hard for her to comprehend at her age what exactly, she doesn't know much about marijuana or anything like that. So, I explained what I could. But I'm sure we'll talk again whenever she's a few years older. Especially if she starts getting into anything that she shouldn't. But I don't think she will. She's a really good girl.
And I guess the last piece is as they're walking out the door, is if they can still hold their head up high and give a nice firm handshake and say thank you and walk out, I'm pretty, at that point, personally, I feel satisfied and I know that they got it. They have learned from their mistake and they're going to lead, you know, successful lives. And there hasn't been one case where I could remember where a person's left totally negative and said, you know, oh, Air Force, you did me wrong. Nope. They've shook my hand and said, Sergeant Garrett, thanks for the wise words, and I'm going to try my best.
The next day, Seth Jones stood for almost 2 hours outside Spangdahlem's main lodging facility, waiting for his transport to Frankfurt International Airport. During his wait, nervous of what lay ahead of him, he thought about what his life would be back home. So, it's your last day.
Yes, my last hour. My last couple of minutes, actually. It's exciting.
Any thoughts, anything going through your head?
There's a lot going through my head. It's hard to describe. It's more just anticipation and excitement, anxiety about what's coming, about not being in the military anymore.
Would you change it if you could?
No, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't even change the situation. I learned too much from it.